Hello friends, I'm going to do a slower tutorial of the binding system. This paper measures 6 5/8 by 10. My covers are going to measure 2 by 7 1/4. So that's how I determine the length and the width and how many hinges I want. I have a slower version of this way down in my feed somewhere, but for this particular book, this piece again measures 6 5/8 by 10. And I'm going to score on the 10-inch side because I want 1-inch hinges. So I'm going to score at 1.5, 1.5, 2.5, 3.5. And this is craft paper, so you kind of want to make sure you score it really, really well. So my last score was at 3.5, then at 4, then at 5, and then at 6, 6.5, 7.5, and 8.5. Okay, now if you can see on here, here's wider lines, smaller gaps, larger gaps, larger gaps, smaller gaps. The smaller gaps are going to create the gusset in between my hinges. These two larger pieces will be adhered together to create a single hinge. Then this will be the space or the gusset between my next hinge. These two will be folded together. This is going to be my gusset, and these two will be adhered to create my third hinge because I'm going to have 3 signatures. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to flip it over, and I am going to add adhesive just on one of the larger strips, and it doesn't matter if it's this one or that one as long as it's just on one. So I'm going to use my go-to, this is the brand that I've used for years and I really like it, double-sided strong tape. This is very unforgiving, so if you mess up, and you try to take it apart, it's really gonna ruin it. I've seen people use wet glue, and I personally don't want wet glue for something that's going to be used heavily. It's a hinge, so there's going to be pages are going to be turned, so I want something a little bit more sturdy. You just want to make sure when you're adding your adhesive you don't go over the score line. You want to keep the score line free. Now it's up to you if you want to add more tape. I am, but I'm going to use my smaller 1/4-inch tape on here just to cover this little gap. It's not necessary, but it's just something I like to do. And I'm going to do it to all of them. And you'll see in a minute, and it'll all make sense. I've tried to explain this a couple times, but it's confusing, I know. But I've been doing this for 20 plus years, so it's kind of, when I have to explain it, it's a little bit difficult because I don't think about it, I just do. So now I want to fold these in half. So I'm going to fold on this score line here. And you have to burnish, especially if you're using craft paper because it is very thick. And so I'm going to remove my adhesive. I'm going to adhere together, burnish again. I'm going to fold this back. Okay, then I'm going to fold this over. Here's my hinge number 1. I'm hoping that this is starting to make sense. We're going to have to remove again the backing on this one. I'm going to make sure I fold it in half. And you can pre-fold these if you want, but I just, again, like I said, I've been doing this for so long, I just don't even think about it. And burnish on both sides. So now I have my first hinge, then I have a gusset, which is my space. Okay, and then this is going to be the space between these two here. So I'm going to remove the backing off of this one. And then I'm going to fold it in half again on the score line, that center score line between the two larger pieces. is this. Okay. And so now I'm gonna bend this back on this one. And so now I have my 3 hinges. This is where I'm going to attach my pages to. If you and I'll show that on another video, just so I don't want to confuse you. So this is because I want 3 hinges. This is what it looks like. Again, the paper, I like to have a little 1/4 inch or 1/8 of an inch around from the spine to the covers so that there's room. And all of this will make sense as I go. But this is how I created the hinges that will attach my signatures to. I hope this helps. Thanks. Bye.